I want you to imagine a postcard. Perfect, like something straight out of a fairy tale. An Alpine lake, smooth as a mirror, tiny toy-like houses clinging to a steep mountainside. This is Hallstatt, a place I had seen hundreds of times on postcards from Austria. But what I didn't know for a long time was that its story didn't begin with photographs. It began with salt. Yes, it is salt that shaped the Hallstatt we see today, the magical place that now draws thousands of visitors every year. But thousands of years ago, Hallstatt looked very different. This is home to the oldest salt mine in the world. Back in Celtic times, white gold was transported from here along the salt road to the most distant corners of Europe. Life here was really harsh. The work in the mines was exhausting. Even pregnant women had to work underground just to survive and feed their families. Today, Hallstatt is protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But its soul still carries the weight of that past. Every street, every house here seems to breathe with history and legends. I began my walk along the lakeside promenade. Passing small souvenir shops, I slowly reached the most iconic view, the Evangelical church. It stands right at the water's edge. Its neo-Gothic tower rises like a candle, perfectly reflected in the lake. But this beauty was born from struggle. The church was built only in 1863. For centuries after the Reformation, Protestants in Catholic Austria were forbidden to build churches with towers. Only the Edict of Tolerance finally allowed this elegant symbol of faith to appear by the water, the first Protestant church in the region after those dark times. From there, I continued along the promenade, then turned upward, following narrow paths climbing the slope. Along the way, I passed the local museum, preserving artifacts from thousands of years of life in the Salt Valley, and small, charming shops tucked into the hillside. As I climbed higher, my view slowly shifted, from cozy guest houses to the dark, mysterious surfaces of the lake below. Some locals say a quiet creature lives in its depths. But my eyes were drawn even higher to the spire of another church, for older than the other by the water. There, among neatly kept graves, stands a church built in the 15th century. A severe lack of space in the tiny cemetery, wedged between rock and lake, gave rise to a unique and solemn tradition. Roughly 10-15 years after burial, remains would be reverently exhumed. The bones were meticulously cleaned, bleached in the sun, and stored in the charnel house. But the skull received special attention. This tradition, which began in 1720, transformed a place of grief into a monument of individual memory and folk art. Hallstatt feels like a town from a dream. Anyone who loves beauty, silence, and spirituality longs to come here. There is even a replica of it in China. I remember one time how my wife and I, still living in Ukraine, once watched a video about Hallstatt and dreamed of it visiting someday. And now, years later, our dream has come true. For the first time, we are here, in a place that feels frozen in time. Here, against the backdrop of eternity, I read a poem I wrote during our separation time in Ukraine. Those words have been waiting for this time, for this silence, for this exact moment. Sometimes dreams don't shout, they simply come true quietly. Yes, Hallstatt is a place worth visiting, a place to walk slowly, to reflect on the eternity, to pray to God. We even spoke with some of the local residents. There is something deeply special in that. This is not just an Instagrammable location, it's a living place, an open-air museum of real lives. And the locals don't really like that term, museum. They simply want to live calmly and share their history with respect.